Hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a beautiful day. I would like to show you all a roadmap of what happens with the institution of the justice system and how you all have been groomed and confused to be afraid of African Americans and people of color. First of all, before I even get into these crime tables and statistics, I want to show you the origin of how policing even started. The origins of modern day policing can be traced back to the slave patrol. That was the original name. The earliest formal slave patrol was created in the Carolinas in the early 1700s with one mission: to establish a system of terror and squash slave uprisings with the capacity to pursue, apprehend, and return runaway slaves to their owners. Now, in this day and age, there has been a reformation over time, but the spirits of old still exist. What I want to tell you all is the news is guilty of this, putting constant black crimes and stories and news stories on the news and constant black murders. There used to be rules in order for your crimes to be recorded and picked up by the FBI. You had to have a certain amount of people in your population. If your population wasn't big enough, they didn't record your crimes federally. And not only that, I want to show you guys something. Information about crime comes from two primary sources: survey responses from victims about crimes they experienced, and the administrative data from law enforcement agencies about crimes reported to them. So the police and the victims are the ones that report crimes to the FBI. If police only report victims of African Americans and black crimes, then you are giving off a menacing ideology that black people are violent. BJ's National Crime Victimization Survey and the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting. So then you go even further. What is an accidental death charge? Accidental deaths include actions. Knock it off, Aphrodite. Stop. Accidental deaths include actions deemed to be manslaughter. A person is guilty of involuntary manslaughter if he or she kills a person without malice aforethought. So in the court of law, the judge or the jury has to decide whether it was malice or destructive with intent. So basically, for some reason, a whole bunch of Caucasians' crimes get pleaded down to involuntary manslaughter and other charges, while African Americans are seen as violent. Too many times are people of color seen as violent and destructive, while people that are of a different people that are Caucasian descent are said to be good people. Even when they describe crimes and terrorists and different things, school shooters and shooters, they were a good person and something happened. Meanwhile, for us in our community, they put us in these negative communities of shoot, kill, and violence and survive after destroying and burning down our towns and killing us over and over and over. So then you go even further. Look at these crime statistics, right? So I'm going to get into the statistics of it. The total crimes in 2019, the table, were 6.8 million of this year, of 2019, right? Then out of all those crimes, 4,700,000 of them were Caucasian. So I'm going to give you guys crime statistics. 6.8 million. I'm sorry, statistics. 4.7 million crimes divided by 6.8 million. That's 69% or 70% when you round up. 70% of the crime was committed by Caucasians. And then you go even deeper. They want to hide the truth when dealing with manslaughter. The total number was 7,800, right? Or murder, but only 3,600 people committed murders. That's not true at all. I could pull up statistics on Google right now and show you how many actual people were killed by Caucasians. And then if you go statistically, the number of people that were murdered in massacres, and see, this is what I'm talking about when I say things are hidden, right? What is a race massacre? Were any of these, Tulsa race massacre, right? They would go around towns murdering African Americans. Mississippi burning and the race massacres that I talk about, Rosewood, the Tulsa Race Massacre, also known as the Tulsa Race Riot or the Black Wall Street Massacre, was a 2-day-long massacre that took place between May 31st and June 1st of 1921, right? That was 100 years ago, right? So then what is what is Rosewood? What is Rosewood Massacre? Rosewood Massacre was originally racially motivated, a massacre of black people and the destruction of an entire town. But we're violent. Our murders get recorded. That's why we act the way we do. They don't tell the whole story. What is a hanging picnic? Picnic at Hanging Rock. Were blacks hanged at picnics? Blacks, picnics, and lynchings. They would have picnics and burn us alive and hang us from the stake. Anybody that removes this from YouTube and says this isn't true is a liar, and we were hanged for fun. They used to terrorize us. I could show you videos of them talking about get out of our neighborhood in the 70s. Were blacks removed from neighborhoods in the 70s? I could show you pictures, racial separation during the 70s. I could show you pictures of how they used to say, get out of our neighborhood, and how they tried to destroy us, and how we're not moving out. This is the real deal. They tried to kick us out, and a lot of white people helped us, but a lot were racist. I'm sorry, I can't lie about this anymore. We had to have marches to become free because they had colored water fountains and treated us like pure garbage. So I say all that to say this. These statistics are blotched, and even the real statistics show that they committed 70% of the crimes. So why are black people in the news all of the time as violent, and murders, and Hispanics and people of color? So I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. I'll ask Google a question. Why are blacks always in the news and the news media? This week, National Association of Black Journalists holds its annual meeting in Miami. The meeting comes amid increased attention to the role of black journalists and the United States' recent changes to black-oriented news media organizations, such as decisions by the Chicago Fender, a black newspaper. So let's talk about black-on-black crime. You all want to know the truth about the crime in Chicago? Go look up something called redlining, and what they did to African Americans and how we were segregated against and treated like garbage. What is redlining? To refuse a loan or insurance to someone because they live in an area deemed to be poor or financial risk. They basically destroy people of color, Chinese, Japanese, Jews, but somehow the Jews came out on top. Oh, because they're Caucasian now. Somehow Jewish people are white now. So I'm not even finna get in all that. It's called whitewashing. So I just want to tell you all the truth about American history and politics, and how we were treated like garbage, and how we're not violent and murderers, and how we were put into ghettos, given a bunch of guns and drugs. And man, was crack put into the black neighborhoods. They flooded our neighborhoods with crack. You can the CIA, there's documentaries about this now. It's declassified. Jim Crow, mass incarceration. I'm telling you all, this stuff isn't conspiracies. Fox News are talking about we're violent and we're this and that and all this other stuff. It's all a lie, and wake up. You're being part of the system, and none of it's true. We're not violent. We're not evil. We're not none of that. We're a part of a violent, racist system that has massacred and killed us over and over. Y'all, they're talking about Nazi Germany. How about Nazi America and what happened to us in history? So let's get it together and tell the truth and stop causing all this black hatred. I see black people hate themselves now. The conservative the Hodge twins and Candace Owens, and that Terrell guy, the one that wears the red MAGA hat, talking about black people eat fried chicken. You disgust me. It makes me sick to see what my people have to go through every generation. Now they're making black people famous and black media stars famous so that they can justify saying black people are bad. So if they get black people to say it, then they can say it. You see what I'm saying? It's like a catch-22. So You guys, just tell the truth, man. They're putting black people in prisons and use the incarceration system basically imprisons blacks and makes us look like monsters and puts on the news that we're violent and murderous. Meanwhile, all these crimes, let me show you all some crimes that you all, since blacks are so violent. Listen, this number of murder, not real at all. If you think 500, first of all, I'm going to give you all a statistic real quick. If you don't believe what I'm saying, if you believe that, how many Americans are Caucasians? 332 million people, 61.6%. The number of crime they commit is more than the number of their population. I hope that's a staggering statistic. How about that? So, in terms of percentages, so they make up 60% of the population, but commit 70% of the crime. You see what I'm saying? So I want you guys to understand that statistic. And then not only that, if you think 300 million people only commit 3,600, I'm going to give you all the statistic right here. Hold on. 336 million. Hold on. So 3,600 murders divided by 336 million. Do war count? Do war crimes count? Does Hiroshima count? Nagasaki? America dropped a bomb on an entire city. And y'all want to call blacks violent and murderers? Oh my goodness. So you guys think that white people only commit 0.00001% of murder? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me add another zero. You guys think they only commit 0.00001% of murder? Like, man, quit playing on me. Like, I can't. You guys are living in like a fantasy world. There's a movie called The Stepford Wives. That's what you guys are doing in terms of Caucasian. In terms of like your history doesn't even justify that. Let's like real talk. How many people died in the Middle Ages? Oh shoot. History extra. I can't get a number. If there was a number I could get, then get out of here. Give into your policies. Medieval deaths. If there's a number that I could get, because they love putting numbers on the African and African American. I could pull up African statistics of how many people were holocausted by Europe. Just between America and Belgium alone, you're looking at 25 million. If I get into any other countries, it might make you all sick. Okay, so instead of the Middle Ages, how about I say in the Crusades? How about that? That was European wars. 1.7 million. Okay. See, it's whitewashing. And I don't want people to say that I'm a liar because that's not true. 1 million to 9 million, I guess. So the real number in the Middle Ages, if you want to look at okay, so I'll say the Byzantine Empire. But then you'd have to mix Greece and the Christian and the Byzantine alone is just Roman. So then you'd have to go deeper into the European wars with the Anglo-Saxons, Frisians, Jutes with that. And then you're looking at another hundreds of millions. So let's see if I can't get an accurate number. Somewhere around here. See, that's the funny thing. When it comes to American and Western culture, there we go. I saw 100 million. Okay. I can't get a number of deaths. See, when dealing with one's own empire, they don't like to talk about the number of deaths, but everybody else, they like to call terrorists and say that their numbers are crazy. So died in the Christian Crusades. I'm going to have to start going down to independent research because they won't give you a number. 9 Crusades. I'm not getting an actual number. So there we go. Academic estimates around 90 million to 1.2 billion died. How many I'm going to try to reword this. How many deaths recorded in the Christian Crusades? So some sources will say 90 million to a billion. Some will say a million. The reason the million doesn't make sense and why they're trying to pretty history is because how many Hindus were killed by Muslims, and the Muslims were a part of the Crusades. So you're looking at like over 80 million to 400 million Hindus. I don't know why they're trying to hide the numbers, but it's a large number of the millions and millions. So how many deaths recorded by medieval religions? Yeah, so if you see, this is what I mean by being programmed by the media. If you go off this basic teachings of what the media is showing you, you're not going to have any idea. 1 million people were killed by the Crusades. So that's not even. So the reason I'm going to show you that's a lie right here with real research. How many people died in the 30 Years' War? I'm telling you, a lot of these Christians are liars. So the 30 Years' War thought to have claimed between 4 to 12 million lives. One war. Around 450,000 died in combat. Lie. Disease and famine took the lion's share of death toll. And so, like, I'm not going to go into Wikipedia because that can be changed, but you're looking at millions of dead throughout the Middle Ages because of religion, because of lies. And then you go into even further. Look, how many died because of World War II? Another war, right? 50 to 56 million dead because of religion. One man who was a Catholic or a Jew or whatever he thought he was started killing the faction of another religion. So these are European wars. They like to lie about them. So, like, I could explain to you all why a lot of this stuff is fairy tales and why these numbers don't make sense. But even in the recorded numbers that do make sense, aggravated assault, 169,000. Larceny, burglary, 81,000, 393,000. The difference between robbery and burglary, what's the difference? So how does one commit massively amounts of more, but then when you get up here, African Americans commit more robbery? It's not, they're lies. So that way they can put on the news, blacks rob and murder, be afraid. These numbers aren't real, they're lies. And if you knew how many people pleaded down in courts, I watched a video of a man that says white supremacy wasn't real. And then in the midst of his video, he said he got pleaded out and he got probation on all his charges and he couldn't believe how. As he said, white privilege wasn't real. This isn't about liberalism. This isn't about left and right and all those other bullcrap mirages, smoke bombs they put in your face. It's about them destroying the people of color to keep a fascist ideology alive. If you guys have no idea what any of this means, go watch The Hunger Games. That's the best way I can describe it to you. You all want to understand what the world is like, go watch The Hunger Games. This is what they're doing to the poor, the people without defense, and the people of color. And then they're trying to destroy us with false religion. How about that? So enjoy your lives and try to survive the best you can, because I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And I am the breath of life, which is love and peace. Have a nice life. And you can change at any point. You want to still be a part of this system that oppresses and hates and lies and kills and steals? Hell, God gives free will. But all I can tell you is you're going to be given over to your own destruction.